How to unset Spring Boot properties in tests, a practical approach for MongoDB credentials. Introduction. When running integration tests with Spring Boot and MongoDB, especially via TestContainers, credential conflicts between your main app configuration and tests can cause failures. Specifically, if your main application.properties includes MongoDB username and password, tests against a no-auth test container instance might break due to these preset credentials. This creates a common question: can you unset Spring Boot properties in tests to prevent such interference? The challenge. Your main application.properties file might contain but your TestContainers MongoDB instance doesn't require authentication, so using these credentials causes connection failures. Attempts to unset these credentials using an empty application test.properties file, registering null values in a dynamic property source. Both fail because Spring Boot does not support unsetting properties by assigning blank or null values once set. Why you can't unset properties. Spring Boot properties are generally additive and cannot be removed or unset once loaded. Assigning an empty or null value simply overrides them with a blank string or null, which may still be interpreted as an intentional value rather than no value. The recommended solution: use spring.data.mongodb.uri. Spring Boot supports configuring MongoDB connection via a single URI property. This URI consolidates all connection information, and importantly, you can include or omit username and password as needed. It simplifies overriding connection settings in tests. How to apply in tests. In your tests, register the container's connection string dynamically without supplying credentials. This binding uses the MongoDB container's actual connection URI, which by default excludes authentication if not configured. Key takeaways. You cannot unset Spring Boot properties once set in application.properties. Use the combined spring.data.mongodb.uri property to manage host, port, and credentials. Override this URI in your tests with dynamic properties pointing to your test container. This approach keeps main app configuration intact while allowing test isolation. By designing your properties around the connection URI instead of separate username and password properties, you achieve flexible and clean test setups without modifying your main application configurations.